This is a Sports Catastrophe production. This picture says it all. The Giants humiliate the Vikings 41-0 on the front of Sports Illustrated. And a Super Bowl preview of the Giants versus the Ravens. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter, and I welcome you to Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, January 14th, 20 years ago, in 2001, the New York Giants crushed the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC Title Game by a score of 41-0. And despite what Jim Schmeenberg and the rest of not Gangrene, but Big Blue Country says, I am not pandering to the Giants. I just basically thought that this was a very interesting NFC title game that needed to be told and all that. So anyway, the Vikings and Giants faced each other in the NFC title game. It was the early of the two the conference championship games because the Ravens and Raiders were meeting later on in the afternoon in Oakland, as Oakland had home field advantage. The Vikings and Giants, this was the third time they met in the playoffs. Minnesota won a very highly contested game in the 97 NFC wildcard playoffs by taking down the Giants 23-22, scoring 10 points in the final minute, 30 seconds. If you want more information, go try Madden 2005. They did the 25 moments and all that, and basically you recreate it. But basically, the Vikings and Giants faced each other on a cloudy Sunday afternoon, 4 Celsius, 40 Fahrenheit. Over 79,000 people went to Giants Stadium to see this game. Pat Summerall and John Madden on the call, as always. The Giants would go on to do well. In the first quarter, Collins threw a touchdown strike to Ike Hilliard for a 46-yard gain. Then later on in the first quarter, Collins did it again. A second passing touch, this time to Greg Covella. The third was a 21-yard field goal by Brad DeLiso. And then later on, Collins to Joe Jurafishis for a touchdown. Bet you didn't know that Joe Jurafishis was a Giant. Neither did I, for that matter. DeLuisio kicked another short field goal to make it 27-0. And then Collins got a touchdown pass to Ike Hilliard for a 34-0 game. Make it 34-0. That was the score at halftime, 34-0. The Giants didn't really pile it on. They just basically played keep away when they had the ball. Collins threw a touchdown pass to Armani Toomer for the 5th time. He got a touchdown pass. And the Giants didn't score one after that. So the final score was 41-0. This was amazing what had happened and all that. Kerry Collins was huge. The star from Penn State who basically was supposed to be the face of the Panthers, but then the Panthers moved on from him because of some kind of off-field issues. So Kerry Collins basically landed with the New York Giants, who needed a quarterback to replace the legacy of Phil Simms. So basically, he did it. Collins got 381 passing yards for 5 touchdowns, the most lopsided contest in NFC Championship game history, and the second most lopsided of all time. Of course, if you think, well, wait, it's the most lopsided in NFC history, and if it's the second most lopsided ever, then that basically means the AFC was better. And yeah, that was. I will talk about that AFC Championship game in this video and not make it a video of my own. Meanwhile, the Giants took care of the Vikings by shutting them limiting them to 114 offensive yards, sacked Culpepper 4 times, and forcing 5 turnovers, giving the Vikings their first shutout and their worst loss in postseason history. Ike Hilliard, 10 receptions, 155 for 2 touchdowns. Basically, Brady Musk called it 41 donut. Culpepper was 13 for 28 for 78 yards with 3 picks. Moss only got 2 passes. Minnesota couldn't recover and all that. So when they were up 7-0, Mo Williams was supposed to get the ball back, but he fumbled the kick return, but he fumbled it, and the Giants got the ball back, and that's when Collins got to Camella. Minnesota picked off Collins once, but then Culpepper threw an interception that was caught in the end zone by Emmanuel McDaniel. Minnesota just couldn't do anything about it. So the Giants scored 34 points in the first half. That was more than they scored in any of the regular season games, which was like, what? So basically, the Giants just couldn't make a mistake. By starting this game, Collins was actually the sixth quarterback in history to start in the conference championship for two different franchises, joining Craig Morton, who was the Cowboys and the Broncos, Ron Jaworski for the Eagles. Who else did he start at conference championship for? I would say the Giants, but I'm not sure about Jaworski. Conference championship. I'll have to look into it. Doug Williams, who did it for the Bucks in 1979. Yeah, real. I'm not joking. And the Redskins in 1988. Yeah, I know you can't really say that name, but I'll say it. Jay Schrader for I think the Raiders one time. I think the Raiders one time that they made the conference final against the Bills, if memory serves me right. Yeah, I think Schrader was the guy who started that 91 AFC title game between the Bills and Raiders that was very lopsided, which I'll get to later. And Joe Montana for the Chiefs and the Niners. Kurt Warner and Peyton Manning would join this group. Kurt Warner doing the Rams and Cardinals, Peyton for Broncos and Colts. And it was the final time the Giants won a playoff game at Giants Stadium. It was their final playoff home win until their crushing of the Atlanta Falcons 24-2 in the 2012 playoffs. So going back to Jaworski. I guess maybe he was the starter for the Rams before the Eagles. All right, I guess so. That's true. And then he played for the Eagles, and then he went to Miami, Kansas City after. I didn't know that. It was weird. I thought he left Philly. I thought after Philly, that was it. Oh, and by the way, the other game in the 2001, the AFC Championship in 2001 was kind of a snooze fest. But blamed the Ravens defense. 16-3, they crushed the Raiders in define powder. And Shannon Sharp got a 96-yard touchdown play, which was amazing. And then the Ravens crushed the Giants in the Super Bowl 34-7. So, it's time for the conference championships. The first conference championship game was at 12:30. Well, it had the Bills and the Raiders. Well, I said January 20th, 1991. So anyway, it was occasional rain, 3 Celsius, 38 Fahrenheit. 80,000 people went to Buffalo Stadium to watch it. Dick Enberg and Bill Walsh was doing the game for NBC. And Art Shell of the Raiders became the first African-American coach to take his team to a conference championship game. But the results were not in his favor. Well, obviously, it was 51-3. The Raiders got a field goal in the first quarter, something that the Vikings didn't do 10 years later in their conference championship game. But the Bills scored 21 points in the first quarter, 20 in the second quarter, and 10 in the fourth quarter, which is weird. And all that. So, yeah. Jeff Yeager's field goal made it 7-3 Buffalo. But anyway, Kelly touchdown pass to Lofton. Furman Thomas a touchdown run, something the Giants didn't have, which was weird. Okay, Daryl Talley pick 6. Kenneth Davis a touchdown run. Kenneth Davis another touchdown run. Lofton from Kelly. Kenneth Davis had third touchdown run, and Norwood with a field goal. It's amazing. Kenneth Davis had 3 rushing touchdowns. I thought Furman Thomas played a lot. Because he didn't. I guess they went with Kenneth Davis for the short stuff. On offense, the Bills had 502 total yards, including 202 on the ground. Furman Thomas ran for 138 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Davis actually got 3 rushing touchdowns, despite only getting 21 yards on 10 carries. I guess he was a short yardage guy. Buffalo set an NFL record with 41 points in the first half. Jim Kelly threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. Buffalo picked off Jay Schrader 6 times. Yeah, Schrader was the quarterback He did that for the Skins too. Mark Kelso. So basically, Schrader's 5 interceptions thrown tied him with Dan Pastorini and Richard Todd for the most interceptions thrown in a playoff game since the merger. But Brett Favre would outdo them in 2002 by throwing 6 picks against the Rams, I think. Rich Gannon would actually throw 5 interceptions during Super Bowl 37, so that was not the Raiders' record. Vince Evans actually replaced Schrader, but he threw an interception himself. Marcus Allen tried to play well for the Raiders, but he only got 26 yards. A lot of people said the Raiders were battling trouble because Bo Jackson got hurt. Yeah, a lot of people said that Bo had an injury in the game prior to against the Cincinnati Bengals that basically ruined his football career. He did come back and play baseball for the White Sox in '93 and was okay. Yeah, anyway. So anyway, O.J. Simpson said that Jackson's injury is going to cause him to lose the NFC Title Game, the Super Bowl, and start baseball. A lot of people criticized him for the remark, but it was actually correct, and that basically ruined Bo Jackson's career. Here's the funny thing. We'll talk about the 91 and 2001 conference championships and all that. The Raiders, this would be the last AFC title game appearance for 10 years, so 91 and then 01. Coincidentally, the Raiders only managed 3 points in that game against the Ravens. Coincidentally, the Super Bowl opponent would have been the New York Giants, and coincidentally, the Super Bowl was played in Tampa. Wow, that's amazing. And of course, the 91 NFC title game that would be known for Joe Montana getting hurt and basically ruining his Niners career, and the Giants getting a late field goal by Matt Barr to ruin a three-peat for the Niners. So that's all I've got for this one. Don't want to bore you any further. So anyway, thanks for watching. Ado.